Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. This is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I didn't anticipate making a video today. We're in the new home studio. It's not quite all finished yet. As you can see, we've only got like half of the wall soundproof right now, and all of the other walls to the side of me are still not finished, but it's an emergency upload because we've been talking, you lot have been asking, front of shirt sponsors, Chelsea, can we please go out there and actually get some value out of the front of our football shirt? There's a lot of people that will look at this and be like, well, we quite like not having a sponsor because it looks clean. We don't have a company that we don't endorse or that we don't like on the front of the shirt, but it does seem as though Chelsea are very much on the verge of securing a front of shirt sponsor. And it is about time too, right? When we talk about listening about people saying you got to get a bigger stadium, the match day revenue ain't what it should be, isn't what it could be, then the least we can do whilst we wait for a new stadium or an expansion of the bridge is get a flipping sponsor. Now this is the latest, and this is from Lou_class, who has been pretty good when it comes to talking about Chelsea in front of shirt. And this has been spoken about quite heavily recently in the last couple of hours within the Chelsea community. Chelsea are close to announcing a new front of shirt sponsor. That's not really the news. The Oracle deal is reportedly tied to broader investments by Clear Lake Capital. So, as you can see with the images here on the screen, and this, by the way, if you don't follow this account on X, Bridgeways, absolutely brilliant. One of some of the best clean graphics you'll see. But Oracle is the name of the company that Chelsea are reportedly going to have as the front of shirt sponsor. Now, interestingly as well, we've got this. The deal is expected to last until the end of the current season. Oracle will pay significantly less than the club initially expected. Now, off the top of my head here, the sooner this got done, the better. The fact that we still haven't got it done till this point is obviously a problem. And when it comes to the finances of a deal like this, 11 matches into the Premier League season, or whatever it is, 11 or 12, this is not ideal from a business standpoint for Chelsea. We've already had over one quarter of the season, nearly a third of the campaign, with no front of shirt sponsor. You've had Champions League nights as well. Chelsea, Bayern Munich, big games have happened, and no front of shirt sponsor. Now, I said to you lot as a prediction, wasn't insider information, but I predicted that before the Arsenal and Barcelona games at Stamford Bridge, this would all be done. And lo and behold, we're in the international break. We've not even entered week 2, and it looks as though this could be done very soon. Now, obviously, when it comes to the company, everyone will have their own opinions. Some people might not like betting companies. I won't sit here and say that that's a problem for me because I like to have a gamble once in a while. But Oracle are a data company, a business technology company from the US, I believe. And obviously here, as we've read, there is clearer, deeper ties with broader investments with Clear Lake Capital. So there was a lot of people that wanted an airline. For me personally, aesthetically, this looks clean. I can't complain about it from an aesthetic perspective whatsoever. Perfect time for me to also promote the GBFC10 discount code. Shameless, this one. But obviously, with a new front of shirt sponsor coming soon, you might want to get the kit with the sponsor on it. And GBFC10 gets you 10% off everything, including kits, home away, third kit at the Megastore. Link also in the description. So yeah, finally, after all this bloody time, it looks as though we might be about to actually get a front of shirt sponsor. Great news. Money-wise, obviously Chelsea were looking to secure a longer-term deal. There was a lot of talk, and it was mainly people like really wanting this to happen than an actual eventuality probability. Jordan. Chelsea wanted the deal with Jordan. Lots of fans wanted the deal with Jordan. Listen, Oracle, don't know too much about them, but it's clean. That's where we're going to leave it for now. And probably an announcement will come soon. Well, the next piece of news, you thought it was the international break. You thought it was November. But at Chelsea Football Club, we do things ever so slightly differently. And we got a here we go from Fabrizio Romano in November. Imagine that. Well, with Chelsea, of course you can imagine that. Exclusive. Deinner Ordoñez to Chelsea, here we go. Agreement reached today for 16-year-old talented defender to join the CFC project. Independiente del Valle accepted all conditions as Chelsea anticipate 3 top European clubs. The Ecuadorian will arrive in January 2028. Who the bloody hell is this geezer? Well, as of right now, he's pretty much still a child. He's a teenager, 16 years old, defender playing from Ecuador. Now, obviously, I do GBFC, right? We talk about Chelsea Football Club. We've got shootout. We watch football. I don't have time to be doing the rounds, scouting by myself in Ecuador. All right, I don't have time for the youth set up in Ecuador. But when it comes to Chelsea and South America and young talents, you best believe that we are doing our scouting. We're doing our preparation. We're doing the planning. And from what I've heard, right, from people that do have the time to sit there looking at young Ecuadorian players and whether or not they're going to make it in the footballing world, by all accounts, we have been told that this guy is a serious young centre-half. At 16 years old, we're not going to see him in 2027 when he turns 18, and he'll join Chelsea in January of 2028. Now, obviously, there's some people that will just be like, we wanted to sign a centre-back, but did we want to sign a centre-back who's 16 and ain't going to join for 2 seasons? Well, the answer to that question is most likely no. But at the same time, right, I'm kind of at that point now where I've accepted that this is what we do. And I think when we start to see the fruits of those labours from years ago, such as Esteval Willian, we're like, who is he? What's he going to do? Like, now we know what he's going to do. So when it comes to the model and understanding that Chelsea will be going out there to snap up these young players early, excellent. If he is, as people are saying, one of the best players in his age bracket in the centre-back position, this is great news. We got other players in those positions too that can be coming in. Mamadou Sarr at Strasbourg, still a teenager. Anselmino on loan at Borussia Dortmund right now as well. This is great news for Chelsea Football Club. We have got some really exciting young players coming through over the course of, obviously, until we sign him. You've also got the likes of Dastan Satpayev, who's playing Champions League football right now with Kairat Almaty. We've been keeping tabs on him, having a little look at how he's playing, what he's doing. And by all accounts, all we've heard about this geezer is that he's going to be a serious talent. Here we goes in November, front of shirt sponsors. That is why we have gone early without finishing the set, which is going to hopefully be done by early next week. And we needed to bring the news for you lot. But there's more. Michael Olise. I faced a lot of top players over the years, but the toughest has to be Marc Cucurella. I've played against him a couple of times, and trust me, it's never easy. I think Cucurella nowadays, he does get the plaudits that he deserves, and I would still say he's one of the most underrated players now at Chelsea, to be fair. At first, I think rightly so based on the performances, but again, it's a quick reminder not to write players off as soon as they join, because in time, the quality will show. For Cucurella, that was always the case when he joined Chelsea, and now I think he's firmly viewed by Chelsea fans on the whole, and also a lot of people in world football, as one of the best left-backs in the world. Next piece of news, Benoit Badiashile is back. This is huge. Potentially, we could see a Wesley Fofana and Badiashile partnership against Arsenal. That would be solid. Badiashile was in great form by all accounts before he went off injured in that game against Liverpool. There was also a great combination there between Achampong and Badiashile. But since then, Fofana's been good, and I think I'd quite like to see how that one works. Now, the next piece of news is a relatively funny piece of news. Cucurella's comment on Lamine Yamal. I think Yamal has left the national team camp because he knows I'm going to start doing homework on him in training sessions. I rate this from Marc Cucurella. I'm not going to lie to you. Chelsea-Barcelona after the international break. Then we're gonna finish the news today with this story here on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And a lot of people have actually got really wound up by this. For me, I just find it hilarious, to be fair. The levels of disrespect that Aubameyang can give to a club that employed him when he probably didn't deserve at that time to be employed by a club of the stature and size of Chelsea. Aubameyang to Canal Plus on moving to Chelsea. That was a big mistake going there. It was an effing big mistake. At that time, I had a bad moment in Barcelona. I had a home break in, and Barca needed to sell a player, me or Memphis Depay. And the only thing that was on the table was Chelsea. Oh, poor you, mate. So I said, okay, for my family, I will move away, even if it's Chelsea. What is he on? I was thinking maybe it'll be okay. Olivier Giroud went from Arsenal to Chelsea and he had no problems. But for me, it was different. Well, the reason Giroud had no problems, mate, is because he took himself seriously. And with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Chelsea, how many goals did he get? We could probably count them on, I think, one hand, I think it was. So for Aubameyang to say that this was a big effing mistake, and, you know, I don't need to use the words. We don't need to use expletives. You all know what it is. All right then, geezer. You'll always be known as an Arsenal player in my eyes, and you failed miserably at Chelsea. And I think that's pretty much down to you, mate, to be fair. Arguably, I will say that he came in and expected to play under Thomas Tuchel. That didn't happen. But it's about attitude, right? And I think if a player wants to be the player that they once were, and they want to let their career just dwindle out, fair enough, you do that. We can see that with a few other players that we know right now. But for Aubameyang, the fact that he's come out and said this about Chelsea, I don't care, mate. I really don't care. It's just funny, if anything. And we'll cover it here on GBFC because, well, Giroud did play for Arsenal. And how good was he for Chelsea? It's possible, but not for some. Anyway, new front of shirt sponsors coming. And we've signed another 16-year-old from Ecuador. Chelsea and international breaks, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe if you're new. Come on, you Blues.